Did you feel like maybe you had good people around you with the likes of Stephen Pressley? You know, he went on, I think he went on to Celtic and then became the manager of Hearts. So in terms of leadership, good people around you there. I think Craig Gordon was with you at the time. Mm. Did you feel like that helped you embed you into the team?
Yeah, it was a really experienced squad, a squad full of men, you know, that were wise heads, and it's a little bit different from the squads now in general, and most teams are a bit younger. At that time, those were experienced pros, you know when you were training, if you weren't up to the standard, if you misplaced a pass maybe 2 or 3 times, you know, you in no words they'd tell you. So going onto that pitch, you know what levels of performance you needed to perform at, and obviously the manager, Craig Levein, he was the same. Being an ex-defender himself, even more critical of your performances and your attributes, and that was, you know, it was a really enjoyable moment for me. And again, you just want to go. I think we drew the game 1-1. You just go into the game wanting to impress and know that you get the manager first and foremost. And I say to most players now, youngsters, can the manager trust you when you go into that first team environment? And I think he obviously did, and I'm not looking back really.
Just a quick one to let you know that over 90% of those that watch this channel do not subscribe. So if you haven't already, please click the subscribe button down below. The bigger the channel, the bigger the guests, and more importantly, it's absolutely free. Enjoy the episode.
There's a difference between maybe your time at Hearts to now. What do you mean by that? What are the differences there?
I think when I was coming through, so I was during the 18s, and there was a reserve team as well. I think the players coming through making that step up are a lot younger now. Whereas what my mind serves me right is those people in the reserve were like 21, 22, 23-year-olds. Now reserve teams or B teams are like 17, 18, 19-year-olds at the maximum. So I think it's a lot younger players coming through, but also it's a lot harder to make that step up. The difference from under-18s football from B-team football to first-team football is night and day, and that's a big step. And I think it's more really, I don't know if it's down to finances or just the generation, but I've got my feeling is that the moment in time that step up, it was more when I was coming through. It was, you know, your training reserves are not experienced, but older, wiser heads. Sometimes when you look at the kids coming through it, and it's just younger, and that's maybe just the culture or a club's not just Hearts, but in general, the pathway they go with the players now, and there'll be 1 or 2 will pop up and down, but really it's so difficult to make sure you make yourself a regular, especially with what's at stake as well.
So you were given the captain's armband. I think you were one of the youngest captains in the Scottish League at that time. I don't know if it's still remains a record, but why do you think maybe at such a young age you were given responsibilities around leadership? We mentioned obviously previously around the people that you work with and the trust with the managers, etc. How was that for you? You know, embedding yourself obviously into the team, and then all of a sudden you become a leader, but you're still quite youthful in your development. I'm just interested in how you cope with that from a mental perspective.
Yeah, it was a shock. Obviously a great privilege, and I really relished it. To be honest, we had the Romanov was a Lithuanian owner at the time, and I'll put my money in this. I'm pretty sure, and it's a good move because other clubs will do it. It was still they wanted to sell me in a year's time or 2 years' time, and obviously me being a captain for a club at a young age, it's going to bring, you know, turn some heads, and obviously I did move on a couple of years later. So I think that was the reason behind it. Even though I could handle it, and obviously I had those leadership qualities, I've got a good head on me, always been sensible, always been driven. So I could have been that no matter what, but I think they had a plan, was to, no one's ever confirmed this to me, but I'm quite switched on that. Obviously the reason was because they wanted to, looking forward, be a year or 2, they wanted to sell me and bring some money in, and obviously that did happen.
So the exclusive there to some extent in terms of you being captain.
Yeah, no, there's no one told me that, but I think it was a good move because it worked, and you know, I really enjoyed it. And to represent your home team, the city that you're born and bred in, the team that you supported, and to go in, especially in Tynecastle in front of 18,000 fans, walking out at the start of the game, you know, there's no better feeling.
You mentioned the Lithuanian owners. What are your thoughts on the whole process there? You know, they were quite ambitious at the time. I think you finished second one season, beating Rangers to the second spot. What were your thoughts on the whole process there and how it kind of finished?
Yeah, when I was there, it was great. They invested a lot of money. We were bringing players on who had just won European Championship for Greece, internationalists, players from all over the world. It was a really good time to be involved at Hearts. It was exciting football, front foot football. Again, when that happened, I was just coming through the system. At that time, I was just on the bench really most games, and I would play a handful. But the club was flying. We obviously finished second that year, won the Scottish Cup, qualified for Europe, and it was the year after we finished second that I started to play, I think, 35 games. It was a great time. Obviously, when I left, things kind of went downhill, and if you speak to fans now, you know it was a nightmare. It was one of the worst periods of the club's history, and I'm so close to really properly going bust and out of business, but obviously they got saved. But then sometimes when you look back in hindsight, those moments, those highs, they may never be relived again, and you enjoyed it while it happened. But when you do look at it now, it's hard to say this. Maybe it was a good thing, because now the club's bigger and stronger and better than it has ever been. It's fan-owned, got really good backers in the club from the outside, new stadium basically, new stand. The club's just going strength to strength. So maybe if that didn't happen, would the club be here where it is now? I don't know. However, there was really good times, but there was also dark times as well. But I'm sure most clubs can say that at some point in their careers. But that was again, I wasn't here. I was down in England when this was all happening, and I think it was really close to the brink. But again, some good people came in and saved the club, and they had a process, and it's just got stronger and stronger.
I suppose it's one example of many similar situations. We think of maybe Portsmouth, we think of Leeds previously. I think the element of playing with fire is something that it's a massive gamble, isn't it? You're rolling the dice in terms of throwing money at it, and then the risk is potentially, if it doesn't fulfil wisely, then there's a backlash to it,
Yeah, I think especially football clubs, it's a great business venture. I'm not sure unless you're in the top elite level. But in Scottish football and other English league football as well, it's difficult. It's really difficult to get a turnover. But a lot of these people do it for the passion, because they love it. They love the sport. They love the competitiveness and that notion of competing for 3 points at the weekend. And, it'll always be here. And I think that's why we eat, sleep and, breathe football.
What was it like being a Scottish Cup winner in 2006?
Great. Again, I was really... Actually, I think, did I play the semi-final? I'm not sure if I played the semi-final, but I was actually really disappointed. And I played the cup final and started the game. It was, for some reason, I don't know. I never played the semi, but I just had a funny feeling I may have an opportunity, but I didn't. I was disappointed. However, the team went out and performed. And obviously, when you look back, it was a toss of a coin, because it went to a penalty shootout against Gretna. And if we didn't win that, it would have been a massive, massive upset. But we did, and just always remember the scenes coming back in the bus after the game, going through Gorgie. All the fans were there, obviously having the after party the next morning, going up into town and having the bus parade along Princess Street, which is obviously the biggest in front of the castle, to Gorgie with hundreds of thousands of fans. I think, unless there's a manager somewhere, I've never realised that moment ever again.
I suppose being a local lad, it means more to you as well, in terms of what we said previously around that emotional attachment.
Yeah, definitely. I think even now when you're walking the streets, you always get recognised and people know who you are. And I'm quite, I like to keep my head down. I wouldn't say I like the attention, but my wife's always like, you done had a good career there, and I did. I need to think like that as well and hold my head high. And I done a lot of good things for Hearts, and ultimately made them money as well in a roundabout way after their transfer. So, but they played a massive part of my career.